Hello, and welcome to the Narrowing Path, walking the spiritual walk. My name is Steve Van Irish, and I thank y'all for joining me today for today's reading of James Allen's Daily Meditations. This is going to be for April 17th. We're on the 17th now. And I'm really looking forward to it. I enjoyed the way yesterday's kind of read, and I enjoy the way it talked about only the pure in heart see God. I find that to be true and to be something that I can use to check myself. Am I seeing God in everything that I do? Am I seeing goodness? Am I seeing truth? Am I seeing love in everything that I do? And if not, I got to take a look at some stuff. So this will be fresh to you and fresh to me. So this is going to be the first time I read this meditation is on this podcast. And you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. So here we go. James Allen's Daily Meditation for April 17th. Where there is pure spiritual knowledge, love is perfected and fully realized. Train your mind in strong, impartial, and gentle thought. Train your heart in purity and compassion. Train your tongue to silence and to true and stainless speech. So shall you enter the way of holiness and peace, and shall ultimately realize the immortal love. So living without seeking to convert, you will convince. Without arguing, you will teach. With not cherishing ambition, the wise will find you out. And without striving to gain men's opinions, you will subdue their hearts. For love is all-conquering, all-powerful, and the thoughts and deeds and words of love can never perish. This is the realization of selfless love. Whew. Wow. These are instructions to live by, aren't they? Right? Like these are things to study. These are things to contemplate. Each one of those little statements there in the middle, those are all a meditation in and of themselves. This is obviously for today, but you can take this one meditation. This is one that's on the high octane stuff, and you could probably spend an entire 2 weeks, a month, even maybe longer if you wanted to, breaking this meditation down and investigating it in your own life and applying it in your own life and what that looks like and thinking about what that looks like, right? Because that's what meditation really is, and contemplation truly can be, is the application of these loving or these principles, these practices. What does that look like? What does absolute love look like? What does stainless speech even mean, right? And then we strive towards that ideal. Whew, loved that. Just overall reading, fantastic. I'm sure this will be a great one to break apart, and probably is going to go long today. Sorry about that. Not really. This is an awesome one. So here we go. Stainless speech. I'm not sorry. I'm excited about this. So here we go. Where there is pure spiritual knowledge, so pure, like unadulterated, twisted, not embellished. Where there is pure spiritual knowledge, love is perfected and fully realized. That means anywhere. That doesn't mean just with James Allen. There's spiritual knowledge that can be refined and purified in so many areas of life, right? And when you get to those pure spiritual truths and the pure spiritual knowledge, love is perfected and fully realized. It's fully meant. You begin to fully understand what true and perfect love means. And that's an important, powerful place to be. It really is. It's a position of strength, and it's a position of freedom. I know I stress freedom a lot because it was just such an important thing. Peace and the freedom to realize this stuff and to walk with this stuff in hand, with a knowing and understanding. It's a powerful thing to a man like me. So, here we go. Here's the instructions. I really enjoyed this so much. Train your mind in strong, impartial, and gentle thought. Right there. Be objective. Take your perspective out of it. Take your desires out of it. Take your judgment out of these things. Strong, impartial, and gentle. Practice compassion for these people. Strong, like definitive, distinct, right? Unwavering. Impartial, non-judgmental, and gentle and compassionate. So, decisive, what was the other word I just used? Decisive and definite, fair, non-judgmental, compassionate thought. That's a big ask. that's a task in and of itself. That I will maybe not. You know what? Maybe I can change that thought. That hopefully one day I will fully realize. I do very well with it today, but I am not perfect. And so it's a point of understanding. It's a point of practice that I need to continue to maintain personally. That's for sure. Train your mind in strong, impartial, and gentle thought. Train your heart in purity and compassion. There we go. Heart and purity and compassion. And absolute love and tenderness towards another human being, and caring and empathy. Right? That's what you train your heart in. So we have thought. We have heart. Purity and compassion. So get rid of those fleeting selfish desires. Get rid of those self-centered perspectives. We want to strive for purity in our lives and compassion for another human being. Train your tongue. So we have thought, we have heart, now we have tongue. Those are some of the most actions we take is our speech, what we say, how we say it, who we say things to. Strong to silence. Silence is the first thing he says here. And to true and stainless speech. So do not speak unthoughtfully. Do not speak for the sake of speaking. Do not speak to appease. Be intentional with what you say, and be thoughtful with what you say, and be true. And what you say, be true and honest. These were huge stumbling blocks for me. I was a talker. I still can be a talker. But they were huge stumbling blocks for me. To let the silence be there. And my speech to be true and stainless. I always wanted to be a man of my word, but for a long time I couldn't uphold that. So when I started to practice these principles and practice this way of living, this spiritual lifestyle, I had to stand by what I said. And any judgment or wrongdoing that may be a response to it. It's the only way I was able to be open enough to change how I thought too. If I didn't say how I was actually thinking about things, regardless of their interpretation, there was no way I would have been able to actually change. So, thought, heart, and speech. So shall you enter the way of holiness and peace. So when you get those three things, when you put effort into and discipline and perseverance into these, practicing these things, the strong, impartial, and gentle thought, the pure and compassionate heart, and the silent and stainless true speech, you will enter in the way of holiness and peace, the way of peace, and shall ultimately realize the immortal love. And so when you work on these things and you start practicing these acts of self-discipline and these acts of morals and these moral behaviors, maybe it's a better way to say it, you realize what immortal love is. When you are 100% other focused rather than focused on self. That's new. That was a new thing for me. And when I was able to do that, I started caring how people were doing, not for any personal reason or personal gain of my own, but I wanted the best for them. And that was a very weird feeling. A very weird feeling. And this is how we should conduct ourselves on a day-to-day basis. The first things are work we need to do internally, right? So, strong and impartial, gentle thought, pure and compassionate heart, silent, true and stainless speech. So in living, how we actually behave externally now, without seeking to convert, we don't go out and beat other people over the head with spirituality. We don't speak from the spiritual hilltop. I think we talked a little bit about that yesterday. And we don't spiritual hilltop. We didn't lead with the chin. We don't give a air of better than thou, better than you. That's the best way to drive someone away from this. To have that selfish, inherent judgment of yourself being better than others is the best way for people to not believe what you're actually saying. So, the way you live. So living without seeking to convert, you will convince. We attract people to this way of living from how we behave and how we conduct ourselves. And they want to know why and how. It's happened to me in my path. That's huge. So, and I didn't go out to tell people what they were doing wrong and that I can fix it, or that I have information they need, or that I have secret knowledge. I just lived my life and directed people to where I found the information I needed, and we had conversations about it. This isn't mine to hold on to or dole out, People will be convinced of the spiritual way of life by how I live it. So it's my responsibility to put the work in and live it the best way I possibly can as well. He goes on here, the next way of living, without arguing, you will teach. Another point, in my sobriety, I had to stop coming to people with arguments and come to them with questions. And here he takes it one step further. When you do not argue with another person, you'll be able to teach them if they're open to it. But an argument will instantly set someone on a defensive. You rob yourself of the opportunity to share what you have or learn from another when you come with arguments. When you come thoroughly convinced of your own self-righteousness and arrogant. Come with questions and gentleness. It's been a huge part of my growth. He goes on to say, not cherishing ambition, the wise will find you out. So when you live this way of life, the people that need to find you will find you. And who needs to know you will know you. That's a scary thought to me sometimes, because ambition is such a good thing, construed as such a good thing in a lot of ways. And Sometimes I lose this one. I won't lie. Sometimes I feel in my professional life, because I have a job outside of doing this, obviously, is I need to be ambitious and do this and grab for more, when in reality, if I slow down, what's supposed to happen will happen, and if I keep taking the correct actions. And that's kind of what this is talking about. Don't go to make people know who you are. The wise will seek you out. Will find you out, not seek, find you out. That's pretty amazing. And without striving to gain men's opinions, you will subdue their hearts. People will care for you and love you and want to see the best for you. And they will be genuinely excited for your accomplishments and your life when you live this way of life. Because when I do not seek to gain or selfishly or self-centeredly get approval or acceptance from somebody else, when I stand steadfast in my own authenticity and my genuine personality and who I am, that is much more respected and loved than trying to manipulate people to get me a sense of validation. All right. I didn't know I was doing that for a long time either, by the way. I didn't realize that was a lot of the goals I was working towards in my life, was this. So it just everything I thought I could manipulate out of people has come indirectly by being authentic and genuine. And it's authentically and genuinely given as well. And that's a blessing I never thought was possible for a man like me. To people accept and love me for who I actually am. Great reading today. All right. For love is all-conquering, all-powerful, and the thoughts and deeds and words of love can never perish. Anything done in love will be remembered. Anything done in love will be of value. And even if credit's not given to you, that's not what we're supposed to be doing these things for. We're supposed to be doing them out of a genuine love and hope and best interest of another. And love is all-conquering. It is all-powerful. And the thoughts and deeds and words of love can never perish. What is said and performed out of love will never be forgotten. It will never be forgotten. And then he sums it all up with this final line. He's just so poignant something. This is a realization of selfless love. So this is what you must do to realize selfless love. You must train your thought, heart, and tongue. You must live in a way not to convert but to convince, not arguing but teaching, not ambitious, to not be overly ambitious, and wait to be found by those who need to find you. And without striving to manipulate men's approval of you and approval and opinion, and standing authentically. When you live these ways, these are instructions for living today, hands down, without question. And a great meditation to think upon. So, thank y'all so much for joining me today and sticking with me for all 19 minutes of this. And I look forward to tomorrow's reading to see what the follow-up to this fantastic one was. And we will go from there. So, until next time, everyone. Thanks.